Waiting for the next big Bitcoin rally is like waiting for a Taylor Swift encore concert. And hopefully that analogy will help explain what's going on and why things are behaving the way they are behaving. So first of all, we had the big, the big concert, the big whatever on March 14. That was the last all-time high of Bitcoin, was March 14 of this year, about a month and a half or a little more than a month after the Bitcoin ETFs, or I guess 2 months, almost 2 months after the Bitcoin ETF launched on January 10th. And then it's been kind of boring. The price has been up, it's been down, it's been up and it's been down, but it has not set a new all-time high since March of 14. So if you use a Taylor Swift concert as an analogy, it's like everybody, shows up for a huge concert on March 14, nobody, knew it was going to be a huge concert, but everybody hanging around got, this amazing new record high show. And with the promise with that was not going to be the only one in 2024. So what does everybody do? Well, first thing, everybody hangs around hoping that it's right around the corner, right? So everybody's still, they're investing money in, March 15, March 16, March 17. Then a week goes by, a month goes by. People start losing interest, right? So, a stadium full of people starts to empty out as everybody's worried that, hey, maybe this promised encore concert might take a long time. And if it takes a long time, is it going to happen at all? And on and on and on. That's just, the way people think. Those of us who watch Bitcoin literally every multiple hours, every single day, every news, everything on Twitter, everything everywhere, those of us are expecting a major rally like any minute now. And as we speak, Bitcoin is about 64,200, in the ballpark of the highest it's been in the last month or so. And at some point there will be a massive rally that will make everybody all excited and all that sort of stuff. So let's think about this. If Taylor Swift had done a concert, or just, all of a sudden ad hoc showed up out of nowhere on March 14 and did a concert in a massive stadium with the promise for a sort of an encore in 2024, initially what you'd have is a lot of people would hang around. Then over time, people would start to leave. But the more time that had gone by, the more certain the true insiders would be that an encore concert is coming. And we're at the stage with Bitcoin. We're at the stage with Bitcoin that all of the people are showing up to the stadium. The people who track Taylor Swift's aircraft are showing up because the aircraft is in the area. The people who track Taylor Swift's public appearances, they're showing up because it looks like the circuit she's on is going to land right where it would naturally be for the promised, follow-on concert, and on and on and on. Now, you can just use your analogy. So what would it feel like if you were standing at the doors of the stadium watching people, knowing that a massive Taylor Swift encore concert was promised before the end of 2024 and it could happen any day? The answer is you would be surprised, because just about as many people are leaving the stadium as coming to the stadium, which is what's happening right now. Now, over the last little while, over the last sort of week or two, more people have been coming than going, which is why the price is at 64,200 as opposed to lower. So a few more are coming than going. But you'd be wondering, why are all these people leaving the stadium when it could be any minute now that Taylor Swift shows back up and, does the performance of her life? Well, Bitcoin is the same way, in that all of the insiders are waiting. They're allocating capital. They're buying as much Bitcoin as they possibly can, people like me, and knowing that it's just a matter of time. It is literally just a matter of time, and we're going to get the big Bitcoin rally encore that we've all been expecting for a while now. But the average people that hold Bitcoin are not paying close attention, right? They're not, in the Taylor Swift analogy, they're not tracking her plane. They are not tracking her public appearances. They are not studying every single chart and graph to figure out where she's been and how likely she is to be at any given point, how often she makes reappearances at certain concert venues or stadiums, talking to insiders to figure out where she's likely to be and what the rumor on the street is. So those of us, people like me, are doing all those things, talking to people who would know if there is a no to know. And the conclusion is, like, any day now, we're going to get like a massive Bitcoin rally that's going to start, and it'll have pullbacks in it and all that sort of stuff. But Bitcoin will end up shooting way past $100,000 per coin and all of that. And so again, if you were standing at the door, what you'd see is the Swifties are all coming in and the bored tourists are all going out, which has been so far mostly canceling out the price change. because for everybody studying the aircraft patterns of Taylor Swift, there's some random person who happened to be hanging around on March 14 that's just been hanging around the stadium ever since, hoping to catch the follow-on, concert, the encore concert, and with every passing day they lose interest and move on. It's just, I've seen it once and experienced it, but now it's boring. Maybe it'll never happen, and they just go home. So if you were standing at the door, you'd be experiencing the same thing as Bitcoin right now, which is all the smart Swifties are coming in with good data to justify why they're there, and all the random public who's not really paying attention and is not sure, if there's likely to be a concert or not, but they were just sort of hopeful, they're sort of trickling out. So here's what's going to happen, because I've been through this enough that I just know what it feels like. What I feel like is going to happen is, instead of everybody saying it might not happen, the tone is going to shift at some point to people saying, oh, now it actually is happening. It feels like it's happening. This time is different. And instead of the general populace saying, whatever, it's been 6 months, it's been April, May, June, July, August, September, it's been 6 months since we've had an all-time high. You've been promising. Bitcoin always bounces back, and it's just gotten boring. What's going to happen is the mood is going to start changing, and people are going to say, wow, there's a lot more people coming in the door every minute now. Like, maybe this time is real. Maybe something big is happening this time. And the closer and closer you get, the energy starts to rise. As the energy starts to rise, everybody in the stadium can feel it. And they feel like, hey, well, I'm not going to leave the stadium now. It might be about to happen. And then as that happens, more people, who hear that, hey, things are starting to move, this could be the big one, they all pile in, and pretty soon you've got a completely packed out stadium. So if we were in the stadium analogy, if the stadium was, 40% full, a couple weeks ago, maybe it's, 55% full now, with sort of a little mini rally up above 64,000 a coin. And then at some point it's going to become clear to all the masses that the big promised, follow-on encore concert is happening, that it is going to be a huge deal, and then the whole concert venue / stadium, whatever, will be overrun with everybody massively piling in. So that's what it feels like when it happens. It feels like it's only a matter of time until it happens, and until then, it's kind of crickets. It's interesting because I'm on Twitter a lot, and everybody who's into Bitcoin is still talking about Bitcoin all the time. But all the people that were only into Bitcoin when it was exciting, they've long since moved on to other things, which means, now continues to be a fantastic time to buy Bitcoin before it's all exciting. Because once it gets exciting again, by definition, it's more expensive. When things get exciting, they become more expensive, and Bitcoin will be more expensive. So anyway, you'll see it happen. I don't know if we'll have any more false starts before we finally get a new all-time high, or if it's just gonna, within 2 or 3 days, we'll shoot past an all-time high. Could be the next 2 or 3 days, could be 2, 3, 4 months from now. Nobody even knows. It's all guessing. I just know that the fundamentals, the things I watch, are every news headline, every piece of adoption, who's buying, the Kingdom of Bhutan is now the fourth largest Bitcoin holder in the world for a nation-state adoption. MicroStrategy just bought something in the ballpark of $2 billion, or I think they bought 1.1 billion, and they're buying another, 800 million plus. Like, every single indicator, again, back to the concert analogy of Taylor Swift, every single indicator is that, hey, this is going to happen and it's going to be big. All of these, the Swiftie equivalents of the Bitcoiners, I guess the Swiftie equivalents would be Bitcoiners. All of the Bitcoiners are, checking once, checking twice, checking every conceivable thing to see if they're missing something, or if the next massive Bitcoin rally is about to happen, and have all concluded the exact same thing, which is, yeah, it feels like it's about to happen. It's just a matter of time. But again, there's a lot of tourists that are like, yeah, heard that before. Probably just another false start. We're above 64,000. Probably can't hold it. I don't know. Nobody knows if we can hold it this time or not. It's just, at some point it's going to happen, and at some point a whole bunch of people are going to wish they had bought a whole lot of Bitcoin that they don't own today. So hopefully the Taylor Swift, concert analogy is helpful. And hopefully it's helpful in understanding how all the insiders are piling in as the sort of low information, not sure why they're there, people are sort of trickling out, and therefore the price has not been, reflecting the fact that there's a massive rally, in my opinion, likely to happen. But nobody knows the future, and who knows? But that's just the way it feels. So hopefully it's helpful. Have a great afternoon, and I'm always there for anything you need. Thanks.